At 93, Angie Dickinson finally speaks up about Randolph Scott. Angie Dickinson was born as Angeline Brown on September 30th, 1931 in Cullum, North Dakota. She grew up in a loving family with German roots. Angie's early life was filled with simple values and strong Midwestern traditions. Her father, Leo Henry Brown, worked as a newspaper publisher and editor who taught her to love communication and telling stories. Her mother, Frederica, helped her become graceful and strong. The family later moved to Burbank, California, where Angie's world grew bigger from the quiet flatlands of North Dakota to the bright, exciting world of Hollywood. Before she became famous, Dickinson wanted to work in school and professional jobs rather than in show business. She went to Glendale Community College and later Immaculate Heart College in Los Angeles, where she got a degree in business and wanted to become a writer or editor. But life had different plans for her. Her natural elegance and amazing beauty got the attention of people who chose actors after she competed in a local beauty contest, which led to her becoming one of the finalists in the Miss America early competitions. That opportunity opened doors in the entertainment world, and soon Angie started appearing in small parts on television and in movies, wanting to prove that she was more than just a beautiful face. Her big breakthrough moment came in 1959 with Howard Hawks' famous movie Rio Bravo, where she acted alongside Hollywood legends John Wayne, Dean Martin, and Ricky Nelson. As the smart and attractive character named Feathers, Angie shined on the screen, standing out among the male stars with charm and class that immediately made her impossible to forget. Her performance got her praise from everyone and put her on a path to becoming one of the top actresses of her time. Unlike many other actresses back then, Dickinson avoided getting stuck playing the same type of character. She played many different kinds of roles that showed how talented she was, from tough, independent women to fragile heroines, all with a special emotional feeling that really connected with people watching. During the 1960s and 1970s, Angie became a famous name everyone knew, appearing in a bunch of successful movies such as Ocean's 11, 1960 with the Rat Pack, The Killers 1964 with Lee Marvin, The Chase 1966 with Marlon Brando, and Point Blank 1967 again with Marvin. Her ability to grab attention in movies filled with men made her one of the rare actresses of her time who could show both strength and attractiveness without losing what made her real. She had a quiet power, an attractive mix of confidence and kindness that made every scene she was in something to remember. But it was television that turned Angie Dickinson into someone everyone talked about. In 1974, she started acting in the groundbreaking show Policewoman, where she played Sergeant Suzanne Pepper Anderson, an undercover cop who showed smarts, toughness, and caring at her work. The show, which aired for 4 successful seasons, broke down walls for women on television, since it was one of the first drama shows to have a female police officer in the main role. Angie's performance as Pepper Anderson was game-changing. It inspired many women to want careers in law enforcement and changed how female characters were written on television. Her acting won her a Golden Globe Award and several Emmy nominations, making sure everyone knew she was a pioneer for women in entertainment. Even as Hollywood changed over time, Angie Dickinson's impact never faded away. Her timeless beauty, natural acting style, and trailblazing work made the path easier for many generations of actresses who came after her. She kept appearing in movies and television shows well in her later years, including roles in Dress, To Kill 1980, Even Cowgirls Get the Blues, 1993, and Pay It Forward 2000, showing that her talent lasted through many decades. She also became a regular guest on talk shows and documentaries where her honest humor and quick thinking made audiences love her. Angie Dickinson's personal life was as complicated, full of passion, and interesting as the roles she played on screen. Her first marriage was to Gene Dickinson, a former college football player who later worked in the electronics business. The couple got married in 1952 during the early years of Angie's rise to fame when she was still building her career as a young actress in Hollywood. Gene was known for his charm and business skills, and their marriage at first seemed to be one of glamour and hope, a perfect match between an ambitious actress and a determined athletic husband. However, As Angie's career started to grow bigger and her fame increased, the demands of show business and the distance created by her work took a toll on their relationship. Though they officially got divorced in 1960, the couple had already separated by 1956, showing the slow falling apart of a marriage that had started with hope but couldn't survive the pressures of fame and different life paths. While she was married to Gene, Angie became close friends with important thinkers and political people, including the well-known economist John Kenneth Galbraith and his wife, Catherine Galbraith. This friendship showed Dickinson's wide curiosity and how comfortable she felt around thinkers and government leaders as much as with actors and entertainers. The Galbraiths admired Angie not only for her beauty, but for her intelligence, humor, and thoughtful personality. She often visited them, and her experiences during these visits, especially when the Galbraiths lived in India, where John worked as U.S. ambassador, left a deep impression on her. Dickinson traveled to India to visit them, learning about the culture, the politics, and the unique feeling of a country that was working on building its identity after independence. Her presence and friendship are remembered fondly in Galbraith's memoirs, Ambassador's Journal, and A Life in Our Times, where he talks about her warmth, grace, and real interest in learning about the world. These experiences showed a side of Dickinson that went beyond Hollywood. She was worldly, socially aware, and truly interested in the people and places she met. After her divorce from Gene Dickinson, Angie made the choice to keep her married name, a decision that would become part of her professional identity. Angie Dickinson had become the same thing as glamour, talent, and strength, and she continued to use that name proudly throughout her life and career. It was with that name that she became one of Hollywood's most recognized stars, a symbol of both sophistication and independence during a time when few women in the industry had such control. In 1965, Angie found love again, this time with the celebrated composer Burt Bacharach. Bacharach, already a praised figure in the world of music, was known for his elegant melodies and unforgettable songs that would go on to define a time period. Their marriage was one of Hollywood's most glamorous pairings. She, the stunning film star who had won over audiences with her mix of strength and attractiveness. He, the musical genius whose songs for artists like Dionne Warwick and Dusty Springfield became instant classics. The couple married in a private ceremony, balancing their high-profile careers with a real affection for each other. For 16 years, they stayed together, though their relationship was not without problems. Late in their marriage, they went through a period of separation during which both dated other people, showing the complications of two creative, ambitious people dealing with fame, love, and personal happiness. On July 12, 1966, Angie gave birth to their only child, a daughter named Nikki Bacharach. Nikki was the joy of her parents' lives, but from a young age, she faced serious challenges. She was later diagnosed with autism, a condition not widely understood back then. Angie devoted herself to Nikki's care, showing a depth of motherly love that went beyond her public image. The actress once talked about how deeply Nikki changed her life, saying that her daughter taught her compassion, patience, and a new way of seeing things. Despite her parents' efforts and constant support, Nikki struggled throughout her life with the difficulties her condition brought. Sadly, on January 4, 2007, Nikki died by suicide at the age of 40, a loss that broke the hearts of both Angie and Burt. For Angie, it was a heartbreak she never fully healed from, though she found comfort in remembering the beauty and sensitivity her daughter had brought into the world. Burt Bacharach himself lived a long and successful life, continuing to write music and perform well into his later years. He passed away in 2023, leaving behind a legacy of music that defined generations. Though Angie and Burt had divorced in 1981, they stayed connected through their shared history and the memory of their daughter. Their relationship, filled with passion, artistry, and tragedy, stood as proof of how complicated love can be between two extraordinary people who each made a permanent mark on American culture. At 93, Angie Dickinson, the legendary Hollywood actress whose career has lasted for decades and many types of movies, finally broke her long silence about her experiences with the iconic Western star Randolph Scott. Known for her honest nature and charm, Dickinson has long been a part of Hollywood stories with her roles in classic films and television series, like Policewoman, making sure she was known as a trailblazer for women in the industry. Yet, despite her long career and public image, her thoughts on Scott had stayed mostly unspoken until now. In a recent interview, Dickinson talked about her times with Scott with a mix of admiration, memories, and careful honesty. Randolph Scott was a professional in every way possible, Dickinson said, her voice showing both respect and a bit of longing. He commanded a presence that was both magnetic and humble, and he had a way of making everyone on set feel respected, even if he was the center of attention. Her words show a deep respect for Scott's work habits and his contribution to the Western type of movies, which, despite how much time has passed, continues to influence actors and filmmakers today. Dickinson went on to share stories that showed the human side of Randolph Scott. Stories that fans and historians have long wondered about, but rarely heard directly from her point of view. I remember one particular day on the set when a shooting schedule had gone off track and tensions were high. Randolph, without a word of complaint, took it upon himself to lighten the mood, she remembered. Her memory painted a picture of a man who combined being professional with being warm, whose quiet leadership and generosity left a lasting impression on the people around him. Dickinson's thoughts go beyond just admiring Scott's on-screen character. They capture her awareness of the challenges and situations of working in Hollywood's studio system during its golden era. Back then, the industry was different. There were strict rankings, strict rules of behavior, and a certain toughness expected from men like Randolph. But he had a way of balancing authority with kindness that made him unforgettable, she explained. The conversation then moved to Dickinson's personal view on what it meant to share the screen with someone of Scott's importance. Working alongside Randolph was both exciting and scary, she admitted. You knew you were in the presence of someone who had mastered his craft, but he never made you feel lesser or overshadowed. He encouraged you to bring your own best to the scene. Dickinson's words show the working together nature of movies, highlighting how mutual respect and understanding can lift up performances and create lasting professional relationships. She also talked about the myths and rumors that often circle around Hollywood legends. There are always stories, some true, some exaggerated, about people like Randolph, she said. What I can say from my experience is that he was authentic. He treated people well and cared deeply about his work. Angie Dickinson's decision to finally speak about Randolph Scott at the age of 93 is not just a nostalgic look backward. It is a purposeful act of keeping history alive. In a world where first-hand stories of Hollywood's golden era are quickly disappearing, her memories offer priceless insight into both the professional and human sides of one of the industry's most respected figures. Her thoughts also serve as proof of the lasting influence of mentors and colleagues who shape not only careers, but personal views. I've always felt it's important to remember the people who shaped us, who set an example of integrity and talent, Dickinson concluded. Randolph Scott was one of those people for me. Speaking about him now at this stage of my life feels like the right moment, like paying tribute to someone who deserved recognition, not just for his fame, but for his character. In sharing her memories, Dickinson invites fans, historians, and the public to think again about the layers of personality behind the silver screen character of Randolph Scott. Her words, measured yet heartfelt, offer a rare look into the backstage reality of Hollywood's most iconic westerns and the relationships that brought them to life. At 93, she shows that age brings not only wisdom, but also the courage to finally voice truths held quietly for a long time. A touching reminder of the human stories behind the glamour, the lights, and the timeless legends of film history.